Hey, thanks for joining me. I've got an independent comic book to look at today. This one's going to be difficult because it kind of defies description in the traditional sense, and we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But the artist, the creator, he sent me a note, as a lot of people do, and they send me their books to look at, and because we exchanged a lot of messages back and forth online, but he sent this and it says that it looks way better digitally. A lot of the detail is lost in the print version. I get that. I understand. I've seen a lot of books from professionals, that the printing, the coloring, the way that it kind of comes across, when I'm sure when you look at it on a computer screen, looks one way, and then when you print it, sometimes you never know. Like, you don't know what the physical book is going to look like until you make the thing and get it in hands. And I get it. And so I don't look at this as like him trying to make excuses or anything like that. It's just a honest kind of objective conversation about, like, the stuff doesn't look the same. It didn't print quite the way you wanted. So he's just kind of letting me know. I understand. But yeah, Neverlost, which I think is a really interesting title. I like that. A weird story of Mister's Blue Winter Witch and Hot Pink Summer. That already is like, wait, what does that mean? Oh, got the comic I reviewed previously under here. And then on the back right there, Neverlost, 1,620 hours. That's how long it took me to illustrate this book. I always imagined it as Alice in Wonderland if it had been written by H.P. Lovecraft, a silent story drenched in surrealism and cosmic horror. From the guy who created it, Dennis Magnant. Magnant. I'm sorry, Dennis, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I say this whenever there's a name and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize if I'm butchering your name. We'll just call you Dennis. But silent story. I'm like, okay. And you can see that it's a thick book, something that somebody's put a lot of time into. So I was very curious to see what this was like. And of course, throws in the, to Rob, thanks for the He-Man love. He's talking about the He-Man fan comics that I've made, which, by the way, if anybody's interested in the He-Man fan comics, I've got 6 graphic novels available. Still got copies of them. So then you get a front page with some art, and then girls saying, if you're not reading Neverlost, then you are a douche cookie. I think that shit's funny. And there you go. There's some contact information. But again, in terms of how do I explain this book, it's all visuals, no words, and it's completely like left up to your interpretation. And I do have to apologize. It's so big. I don't think I could possibly sit here and like go through it and try to interpret it on my own and explain the whole thing, because it's all due to interpretation and just kind of a visual journey on your own. It's such an interesting artistic kind of expression from a guy's personal experiences and thoughts and feelings and heart and mind and soul and whatever he wants to put onto the page. I couldn't possibly begin to try to explain it. I'm not saying that as a negative. This is, I don't know the gentleman personally. Like, again, I've met Dennis online. He's been very complimentary and kind to me in terms of my YouTube channel, and he's seen some of my art, and so he asked to send me some stuff, and so I really appreciate it. And but trying to, define what feels like a very deeply personal work that's left open to interpretation, I couldn't possibly begin to kind of try to tell you what it is. You get a house, a woman putting on lipstick, interesting kind of color design on this outfit, shot of a chicken bird's eye coming down. Is it attacking her? It's a very vicious shot. Very cool right there. Jump over to this space shot and these weird, interesting shapes going on. Is it people in space? This man, this woman, or 2 women, sorry. It's, like I said, there's no words. So you just kind of have to follow along and look at it and just kind of see what you decipher from it. There are some places where I can tell that the printing of it has probably darkened the colors way more than he intended or wanted to. And I would imagine it probably was frustrating on his part to get a book, and because I'm all about the physical copies. I understand digital, and if you make it and it's a quick way to get it out into people's hands, I get it. That's totally fine. But I like the idea of having a physical book. But if it doesn't turn out the way you want, you're kind of nervous about it. Like I'm getting ready to print up my next one on my own, and I'm always kind of nervous about that part of when it comes in. You know, I'm going to order a proof copy, but I'm like, oh God, is it going to work? And if it doesn't, do I have to reorder it? Do I have to make a bunch of changes? But it's just silent. Man, woman, how do you interpret what's going on? What does it mean to you? I couldn't even begin to explain it. I'm guessing it's all digital work. Obviously there's digital coloring and effects going on, but I don't know if there's any physical drawing on like paper before going to digital. But some really interesting visuals. I like the shot of this guy here in space with these little tendrils coming off him. The story's kind of moving all over the place. Now we're in a different time or a different setting, different characters. I don't know what exactly, I can't explain what the story would be. I know I've said that. So again, it's just kind of like looking at the art and just kind of like, it does fascinate me to wonder, like, I mean, I've created a ton of pages on my own, and, you know, you have an idea of what you want to put on the page, what you expect it to look like, what you hope that it looks like, and what you hope people take from it. So I really am curious what this gentleman's thoughts were or his goals were when he was creating this and what he wanted people to get out of it, or if it's just kind of a place to just throw down your own kind of artistic expressions and interpretations. Sometimes maybe even without an exact goal. I'm not saying that's what he did, but sometimes I know you can just, when you create art and you make a thing, you just kind of put it on the page as it comes to you. And you just kind of let whatever happens happen on the page. You know, there's some kind of more personal stuff with this young girl here, and then it kind of gets into in the hospital, kind of makes you wonder if something, you know, bad is going on, kind of makes you wonder kind of what the meaning behind some of this is. I like the shot of this like personal library, but the ceiling, whether it's just painted that way or it's just kind of a surreal thing where like you look up above and there's the infinite cosmos amidst all these books that open up your mind and imagination to all kinds of various things in the world, and above you is just the vast cosmos. That's really interesting. You know, it's just like, look at this crazy shot on this city, this extreme perspective. It's just, I don't know what else to say about it. You know, if somebody could come along and just fill in the dialogue and they could be talking about anything. I think this might be potentially a place where it's so dark, you can't really tell exactly. Like there's some silhouette shapes, but like he was saying, I bet the digital version is much clearer and would probably make a little bit more visual sense because it's so dark in the printed one. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, what more can I say? Somebody just dumping their artistic feelings out onto a page, drawing some, you know, whenever you draw kind of hot girls in a state of undress, you know, I'm a little bit interested in that. But that's an interesting angle, an interesting shot choice right there. I like that. But it's just this giant book with all these images, and it just feels like a bunch of different stories. They're probably connected, but you got to just kind of determine on your own what it is we're looking at. Getting into some all silhouette stuff. He's kind of doing a Jay Lee thing. Just all silhouette. And it's so vivid with the colors too. The colors are just rich and kind of, there's just a lot of color to it. It's not like a gray, muddy shot everywhere. Just a lot of interesting glowing effects. I like the angle there. Probably some reference going on. I think that looks good. I like all the expressions. going on in the girl through here. Can't turn the page here. Again, just visually so crazy. It's so unique. I don't know what else to say about it. This shot with all these complicated organic shots, animals, parts, things like that. Very interesting. Very creepy, very scary. I like the shot of this bedroom and all this stuff inside it. That looks really cool. Some intimacy shots going on through here. Naughty, naughty. Sign me up. So, yeah, that's an interesting shot. Wild, weird colors going on. I like the big circular panel design going on there. Again, the color choices. Some very different things. Hell, I like that shot of this on and off switch. Just something simple, but it's very believable. Very interesting. Probably, I'm guessing some kind of use of reference for the screamy face and the hands. Like it looks, you know, believable. I like that big shot of the muscular, I don't know, wolf-looking guy. Again, just wild designs all over the place. I don't know. I don't know what to say beyond like, it feels just like a really intensely personal work of art. That it means something to him, but he's going to let you look at it and decide what you see in it. And not concerned about, like, did you get out of it what I intended? Which is to say, you get out of it what you want to get out of it. It doesn't have to be any one thing when it's left open to interpretation like this. That's an interesting shot. And then you get into the back, sketchbook, just kind of a bunch of different things. Obviously, again, a lot of photo reference use. I like sketchbook stuff, just seeing people work out ideas. This color texture on her skin, that's really interesting. I like the hair. I like that colorful, spacey background. Really neat looking stuff. And then this last page, Neverlost. Dead end. It's kind of dark. Maybe the printed version looks a little bit better. A little clearer. But it's just so creepy and so weird, so odd. Looks like printed in September of 2025. So not too old. So again, I know there's not much to say outside of it's just a piece of interesting art that is, you know, a guy just expressing his own works and just kind of letting it be what it is, not concerned about anything except here it is, take it for what it is, and if you like it, great. If not, you know, whatever. It's just it's a piece of work for himself. It's really interesting. Again, I really like the title. That's really fun. And then he also included this other book. You can flip through it real quick. Tourniquet. Oh, it says, there was another thing. It says he drew this, it's all over this thing, 12 years ago. Keep making content. I love your channel. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. So here's a book. It says 2017. Something he drew 12 years ago. Black and white. Writer is Christopher Michael Carter. And then Dennis Magnant, artist. And so it's just this black and white book. Artist is really putting a lot of effort and time into the textures on this creature specifically. Holy Lord, like, let me bring it up close to the camera. Like, look at these little spiky texture things. Like, that would take forever. It's like bordering on stipple art. Like, how much time would it take to put all that stuff down? I can see why somebody would maybe move into digital work. If you're going to put that kind of effort into it, you can probably find a quicker way to do it. I really like this weird cat creature thing. I like the shot of this woman, but that weird open mouth face thing. Really weird, but really interesting. But a lot of effort and time put into textures on all this stuff. Yeah. Really interesting designs. It's creepy. It's kind of funny. It's kind of off the wall. Yeah, really interesting stuff. So, oh, let me skip a page. A lot of time and effort put into it. Then end on this kind of a splash page, like the shot of all the side characters. That's kind of always fun to do. I've done that once with some characters in my own book. It looks like a preview of the next issue coming out. That city shot, good lord! All the 1 point perspective. It's on it's on point. Yeah, a lot of effort. And then just more collages of drawings. A lot of interesting stuff going on there. A lot of time and effort spent. Like, look at this. Look at these shots of all these faces. This looks great. I think this looks really fun. So wild. What a lot of time spent. How about, look at the detail on this thing. Good lord, man. Like, you do not skimp on the detail on any part of your drawing. So, you know, there's the individual book. So I've been meaning to show this for a while. I've got a couple of indie books in my possession that I have to get shown. It always goes a long time, and I'm actually starting to piss some people off. Not necessarily Dennis here, at least not to my knowledge. But it's a hard one to talk about because of the nature of it. There's not much I can add beyond just look at it. You take from it what you want. You know, I don't know what else I can say about it, but it's interesting. I cannot deny that. This is someone who just makes a piece of art and puts it out there, and it's just like, there it is. You can make of it what you will. It's really interesting, and I like that there's the means for people to just create art and share it, and it kind of gives us all kind of an out, a place to put out our feelings and our thoughts, and sometimes people come up with very different ways of doing it. Like, this is very non-conventional, and I applaud him for that. It's really interesting in that respect. So that's all I got for this one. Dennis, thank you for sending it, man. Thank you for being a kind guy and a supporter, and always having kind of nice things to say to me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And that's all I got for this one, guys. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.